करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
The macrocosm and microcosm are strikingly similar. They have exactly the same properties. They only vary in degree. Only the magnitude is different. If a drop of water is microcosm, then ocean is the macrocosm. Like if a day is microcosm, then the year is macrocosm, or a century, whatever it is, that is a macrocosm. So microcosm and macrocosm are similar, and that point was brought in to say that the classification that was given in the world with reference to different types of creatures, starting from the mineral kingdom, then plant, animals and humans. If this is overall a macrocosm, this can be seen within the microcosm of human species also. We can further also narrow it down to this can be seen within in one person also. But here generally it is dealt with reference to the human species. And that is where we saw the relevance of the diagram of Swami Ramatirtha, which is there in Vedanta Treatise also. So in this picture there are various circles starting from A to F. F is not a circle, F is a straight line. A, B, C, D, E are circles, and F is a straight line which can be defined. If you want to define a straight line as a circle, then you can say it is an arc of a circle whose radius is infinite. So in all these circles we see that the radius keeps on increasing, the center keeps on receding, and every circle has something inside and something outside. These are the points that you must remember with reference to this diagram. And each and every circle is contained within the previous circle, but they are not concentric. So what does this circle represent is that each and every circle represents the level of a consciousness of a person, a level of awareness of a person. So circle A refers to the most self-centered person. How it is connected with this microcosm, macrocosm is that we saw in the macrocosm various species in the ladder of evolution show more and more awareness. Minerals show no awareness at all. Vegetables or the plants show more awareness. Animals show much more awareness. Even in animals there may be gradations, but we can take it that in general. Similarly, beyond animals or higher than animals is the human who shows maximum awareness as far as the species is concerned. So what is this awareness? A, as I said, the A circle should not be visible at all, but it is drawn to the extent that it is visible. It is so small. So small means that that circle represents a person who is extremely self-centered. Center is only his self. That is why the center is well within that A. So it is center and circle are as good as the same, like that type of a small circle it is. Self-centered means nothing apart from his self exists for him. He is not aware. Maybe even his family is not aware, in the sense that his own body, his own sense gratification, that is of supreme importance for him. We can say people in this category are very rare, but people are there like that. So these people, how can they even be termed anywhere with reference as a human being, though they may be in human form, no chance at all. Once the awareness expands, You come to circle B, that can be termed as a family man. You can equate it or map it into that vegetable person here. Probably B is where majority of the world will fit in. His center is not himself, his center is the family. He considers himself to be the family. That's all it means. So that means his level of identification is not confined to his small self or his body, but his extended personality is his family, wife, children. These are the people who he really identifies with. He works for them. He loves them. He sacrifices for them. So to that extent it is very good. He is obviously better than the person who is in circle A. And as I said, majority of the people in the world are in this category. For the simple reason that this type of natural awareness we see in the animal kingdom also, and since that we have also evolved into a social animal, that which provides you a basic instinct, not with reference to just your food and your physical well-being, maybe your emotional well-being is also taken into consideration. Everybody, there's a basic necessity to love and to be loved that is there, and that is very much seen, and a family unit is necessary for that. So here we see that the center is beyond circle A, but it is in circle B, and it's good as far as that you have gone beyond A is concerned. And till this point we can say the expansion is natural in the sense, as we said, like lower creatures, you can also be here. But Vedanta says you must not stop your progress at any point of time. You have to keep on expanding your awareness. You have to consciously get into the mold of evolution. So circle C represents maybe a community person who is able to identify with his community people. We are just giving this as some idea or definition. You have to understand the spirit. It could be any other bigger circle than your family. In that sense, you are able to, let's say, feel one with Marwaris or Bengalis or Tamils or South Indians, like that it is. Or it could be your jati. It could be your big company that you are running, all those people who are coming into that, whatever be it. So there comes the next. So this person may even start a trust to help that people, or pay the fees of the person, the children of his company's employees, something like that. He doesn't feel any differentiation with them. It is very good and it is very noble. And you have to understand that at every circle level, the previous circle is contained within it, but the focus and the concentration is not confined to that circle, it is expanding. This is the key point that you need to note. Because at every level you will appreciate that the connection of my is there. It will be there. For identification, that connection of my has to be there. First it is my body only, nothing else. Not even my immediate family members I am able to identify with. It's just my body, my sense gratification that I am very much interested in. Then my family. Now it is my community or my company, whatever it is. Then it could expand to my country in circle D. You feel very inspired with reference to being an Indian. You work for all Indians. Your thought focus is not curtailed by the walls of small boundaries like North Indian or South Indian or Bengali or Marwadi or Punjabi or anything like that. you are able to identify with all Indians. You are able to genuinely feel the pain of all Indians. This is phenomenal. So you see like that the consciousness is expanding. Here also my country will be there. My religion next, it can be like that. Hindus anywhere and everywhere. Or somebody may identify with Muslims. Right? So you will find that at every stage, my is there, but what is the intensity of that my connection? As the circle expands, the concentration of the ego evaporates or loosens. So my body is also my is there, my country also my is there, but that my and this my are different in terms of their grip on yourself. So you are able to identify with a large number of people. That means you have expanded yourself. You are not just confined to this small body at that point of time. You don't feel it that way. That is why if India is hurt, you are hurt. If India wins a match, you are also winning. Like that. You are genuinely feeling like that. It is interesting that we might have jumped across these circles at some point of time, even in our own lifetime. You may get an externally inspired about something, and at that some point of time you are extremely unpatriot. That inspiration could be triggered by anything. It could be by a Kargil war. It could be by a World Cup match. It could be by Abhinav Bindra winning an Olympic gold medal. Or somebody winning something. But at that point of time you forget all boundaries and you are able to genuinely feel that. And it can be caused by an external inspiration. But you have felt it. Similarly, something happened in your locality and all of you pooled together and funds and you helped them. That's your community, whatever it is. You felt that. But who are you by and large? By and large, you may be a family person. Where is majority of your time, majority of your energy, majority of your thoughts, where it is centered around? It is centered around what are the things that you should do for your family, what are their pending works there, how you should work for them, how you should earn for them, how you must make yourself and them comfortable. This is where you may, even if you have a sweet, you want to share it with your children. All this naturally comes because that means you are naturally in that circle. So you are identified with that circle where you are by and large there, but from momentary inspiration you may jump up sometimes. Very rarely you can fall behind also. You can sometimes that extreme what you want to call it devil or Satan catches you. You might go one circle below also and be extremely nasty. That is also possible. Again, but that is not your representative of your majority of your personality, but you can fall into that also. So what Vedanta says is that at every stage, consciously move forward. It is really good and it is okay wherever you are right now. But what really matters is what direction you take and your effort towards moving further. Okay. Now, for which what we need to understand is, as let us say a person moves from circle A to B, he feels extremely inspired. He works for the family. For him that is a very high ideal now. Compared to all other persons who has, let us say, moved from A to B, let's assume that for him to work for family is very inspirational. And he feels very happy serving the wife and children and doing whatever he needs to do. Maybe he is building a house for them or whatever he is doing, he is very happy about it. Others who are already at that family level, they may not feel his sense of happiness and his sense of inspiration. Because they have been there already, and this proves the point that when you do not further consciously put in effort to expand, you may get stagnated, and that stagnation will cause monotony, boredom in your life. That is why that inspiration is not maintained. Mechanically you will go through life. So for our own sake, for our own happiness sake, for our own inspiration sake, you have to put in effort to expand. As we said, this expansion up to family level can be natural, but beyond that we have to put in effort and consciously develop. And how does this come? This comes only with knowledge. If I am not made to be aware that there is a circle existing beyond me, why will I even think of them? I will not. So that is where Vedanta actually comes and helps us. Because it is very easy to say love everybody, love the neighbor, love the community, love all humanity. What is there in a Muslim or a Hindu or a Christian, love everybody. It's very easy to say that, and we can give quotations after quotations from all religious scriptures and great masters and prophets and everybody, we can say that. But it doesn't work that way, because love or identification is a spontaneous feeling. Feeling cannot be generated by instant. Tomorrow you must love. If I say, if somebody says like that, will love come automatically? Any love, any emotion for that matter is spontaneous. It has to come from within you. That's all. It has to. You have to feel that in your bosom. That is called as feeling. Knowledge can be given, but emotions, how it can be taught? Emotions cannot be taught. So here is where Vedanta makes a connection with that supreme knowledge which percolates into your system, by which your emotions may be kindled. Why does the mother love the child? Why do you love your son? Because love is a feeling of identity. Or first, why do you love your body? Because your body is yourself. Then why do you love your child? Child is yourself. That is how you feel. Child is not different from you. And child, that natural affinity is there, natural connection is there. So child and I are one and the same is the unconscious feeling that I have. Out of that feeling comes that love. Exactly like that. If I don't get that feeling that I and all my community people are one and the same, why will I have anything to do with them? Now this, how do we generate this? How does this awareness come? No doubt the awareness is equal to knowledge. And ultimately Vedanta talks about the knowledge of the Supreme Self. It is not talking about A, B, C, D, E circle. It is talking about the F, which is you are the Self. You are nothing short of it. So only when that knowledge percolates into my system can there be even what we ultimately call as universal love, another thing. Let us wait for that. But from practical sense, from practical point of view, we do understand that it is by association with such level of awareness that we can also expand our awareness. It is not possible otherwise. It is not a bookish knowledge that we are talking about here. Why do we say satsang is very important? Is for this reason only. That you have heard that you are the self Tattvamasi, you don't need any other knowledge actually. But even if you, let us say Swamiji has been talking on this for the last 60 years and still he continues to say the same thing again and again. But wherever you get a chance, you are asked to attend and listen to that. What is he going to say? It's the same thing. You are the self, you are not the body, mind, intellect. But what is it that is going to make a difference in your system is that when you associate with such people who are of higher awareness, like a magnetic field, like electricity that passes. It is only then your awareness is kindled, not otherwise. I am not saying that by reading yourself, by thinking about it, it will not come, it will, but for a practical exercise, you need to have that association. Why is this e-learning recommended? It is for that reason. Swamiji even says, don't take notes. Just listen. Just listen. It is that association, it is just that satsang. In that frequency, you are able to raise your consciousness or awareness. So if you look at some role models, let us say, who are already at the community level, your own relatives, maybe your own community people, they are working, they are giving scholarship to somebody, they are collecting funds and doing something for their community people. Then that thought, for it will strike you, there is a more chance that is there. Okay? So, this can be a viable and a possible approach, but Vedanta's approach is more scientific and direct, because it first itself puts that highest thought that you are the self, that you must not forget at all. And then at the practical level, from the level that you are, from the circle that you are, then it says go to the next circle at least. This serves two purposes: that you are consciously made to expand. Most importantly, secondly, you are also not allowed to be complacent at any point. So if a man goes, normally we see some people getting inspired and doing phenomenal things in the world also, which is appreciable. They will get punya out of it. But there is every chance that you may get stuck at that level of circle. So if a person moves from B to C, which is very good, but at some point of time, you may get stuck at the level of C, and at that point of time, when you become complacent there, when you become mechanical there, when you become monotonous and routine is going on there, you may not be able to be aware of it. Remember, for going beyond the family circle, going beyond the emotions, there has to be some level of inspiration, we said, and that therefore your intellect is there. Your intellect is growing, and that is what Vedantic study also makes you. It is developing your intellect, it is developing your level of consciousness. Therefore, you will be always aware that you must go forward also. It is there. But if the mind partakes in that pleasure at that point of time, and it is very complacent and happy in whatever it is doing there, and you are not aware of the further development and further growth, then there is chance that you may get attached at that level. And if we are not careful, what will happen further is that attachment at the higher levels of identification may prove to be much more detrimental also. Again, I am repeating, it is difficult for you to get attached. Difficult means you will not easily get attached as you move further, because your awareness is increasing, your intellect is increasing, your faculties are sharp, and that is what this knowledge does to you. You will be objective, you will be going forward, but the mind has a tendency to partake in the pleasure and get attached at any level. This is the nature of the mind. So if we are not careful, and if we get attached at that level, then sometimes the damage that you may cause is also greater. In other words, a person who is attached at the family level, beyond the circle is beyond his family. So my family versus other family comes means the damage is done at the family level. But if I am genuinely at the community level, but if I get attached as my community only, then with other community people I will have a fight, and there can be violence at that level, then the damage that I cause is at the community level. Like that, if you think and expand, the damage that is caused at the religious level and all is much more greater. So, why does war need to be fought? And most of the wars are fought in the name of religion. Why? It becomes a fanatic attachment at the circle of the religion. And you will find such people, however much they claim to be in a particular circle of identification, their feeling and their level of service to their own commitment will not be there. Rather, it will turn as a hate towards the other. So you have to remember with reference to all circle that there is something inside and something outside. So you should not rest content till you reach F, which has no inside or outside. F is a straight line. There is no concave, there is no convex. There is a straight line. That's it. Straight line is ultimately the level of universal law. You can even take to the extent, suppose because in this context we are bringing in minerals, his feelings is across all aspects of life. Though love is an aspect of consciousness, and we may argue about whether minerals have consciousness or not. As he said, in this context you understand it to be that they feel extremely one with everything. We see the experience of Swami Ramatirtha and others. For them, rivers and mountains also is one and the same. Not to talk about all creatures. Every bird and plant and reptile and insect. Swami Ramatirtha, upon his realization, he talks about his experience where he sees a moving snake and he goes to embrace it, as it were, and the snake runs into the bush. That is there, but that is his genuine thing. I mean, so there is no demarcation. When you see his lectures in America or Japan or to Muslims anywhere, a genuine identification with them, because he does not see Americans to be different from him. Christians, Buddhists or Muslims to be different from him. Various sects of Hindus, whether as Vaishnavas or Shaivas, it's not different from him. All are one and the same. Japanese, Egyptians. That is why they were also able to see him like their own, and that is reciprocal. That is why when you work for the family will feel for you. They will also support you and sacrifice for you. When you work for the community, the reciprocation is at the community level. True love is reciprocal. And when you work for the nation pays you back genuinely. So at all levels this works. But Vedanta alone says that do not be content at any level. Contentment we should not have in spiritual growth. You should not rest content till you reach that level of absolute universal identification.
One would notice an analogous relationship existing between the world and a human being as well. The four kingdoms of the world, mineral, vegetable, animal and human, appear to be faithfully reflected in humans. The nature of some humans resembles that of matter. Others are close to vegetation, yet others are akin to animals. Only a small fraction fits into the caliber of a human being. Whereas it is difficult to find one in a generation who has reached supra-manhood, godhood. The human species may be categorized thus under 5 distinct heads: mineral person, vegetable person, animal person, human person, God person. The classification is based mainly on the degree of their selfishness. Mineral persons are most self-centered. They are not conscious of others' existence, not concerned about the needs and welfare of other beings. As the species develop, drop their selfishness, they become more refined, more evolved, culminating in the totally selfless God person. Those in the mineral category are stone-like, gross and lethargic. Like matter, they hardly manifest any energy or activity. They are irresponsible, indifferent, heedless, and fail to react to the world. Remaining at the physical level, they merely gratify their senses and satisfy their personal needs even at the cost of their family, community, or country. The nature of such persons is totally selfish. Note their traits carefully. Study and understand their character. It will help you to pull yourself up when your personality slips into those demeaning qualities.
So the author is only explaining here as to what is the basis of the classification. The basis of the classification, obviously, as we mentioned, is the degree of selfishness. The mineral person is, so he categorizes into those 5 categories: mineral person, vegetable person, animal person, human person, and God person. Of course, God person, as I said, is the additional classification here. Mineral persons are also very rare, but he says you have to be aware, because sometimes our personality also slips into that category. They are extremely gross and extremely selfish. At the cost of their family also, their only aim is to gratify their senses. Even animals are not showing these type of tendencies. So it is extremely gross. And what is interesting is, outwardly, such persons sometimes may even put on a big show of being, even within quotes I'm saying, so-called religious persons, but they are maybe in this category. As I said, it is rare, but they may be in this category. So we have to be careful and check our own tendencies, that they do not slip into this. The analysis of always it is introverted for our own sake.
The vegetable persons are a little less selfish, but still everything they do centers around their self-centered desires. Their interest and attention revolves around their immediate family. Spouse and children are their altar. They do not see anything beyond the periphery of their home. They merely cater to the well-being of their family. Lost in the domestic unit, their interest does not go beyond it. They strive hard to stretch the world to suit the pleasures of their domestic circle. The world, however, cannot cater to the welfare of one family. In this struggle, they become mentally disturbed, unhappy. The animal persons are also basically selfish. Their interest has crossed the precincts of the physical body and the family. They identify more with their caste or creed, clan or clique, class or community, and would cater to the welfare of those who belong to their fold. They are sacrificial to their own section and faction, but turn bitter to those beyond the boundary of their own group and clash with them. The angel metamorphoses into a devil. Thus, different groups are at war with one another. They breed discontent and disruption in the society. The members of each group cause more pain to other groups than the pleasure they claim to give their own. The human persons are far less selfish than the above 3 categories. they have much wider interests. Some identify themselves with their nationals, others with all humanity, etc. These do not find any distinction or demarcation within their enclave. Being favorably disposed, they advance the good of those who fall within the boundary of their circle, but not so with those who transgress their boundary. The same who are benign to their own nationals turn malign to other nationals. Thus, one nation is set against another, resulting in wars after wars. The pages of history are stained with bloodshed. The good earth has turned into a veritable hell. Similarly, those that identify with humanity are amiable and sacrificial to humans, irrespective of color and creed, community or country. But their bearing, their treatment towards other creatures is distinct and different. They would destroy animals or birds or fishes for the sake of their palate. Food has no taste before it reaches the tongue, nor after it leaves the tongue, yet for the few seconds' pleasure they do not hesitate to slaughter millions upon millions of innocent creatures day after day. Just because these creatures are not represented in the UNO, nor even in the SPCA or PETA.
See, if you have listened to Swamiji, particularly in the last decade or so, it has been always, but particularly in the last decade or so, he has never forgotten to mention about the cruelty that is happening, that is being committed on the animals. The stance of Vedanta, Swami Ramatirtha explains us that each and every creature, it survives based on its own strength. The theory of survival of fittest is also given in the environmental science. So that the strong will grow and it will consume the weak is the sort of the law of nature. So in that sense, he says, plants consume minerals, animals consume plants, we also consume plants. In the same vein, a human consuming plants and animals is per se not condemned. But what is condemnable is that extreme cruelty that is perpetrated on these animals, and most people are not even aware of it. That is what you must be careful about. Those who attended the recent weekend with Swamiji also will know that when there was a question asked about this coronavirus, you can do all the service that you want and what you can, which is good, but you have to go to the root cause of any problem. You are worried about a few thousand, few hundred, few lakhs, whatever be the number of people that are dying because of this, On a daily basis, millions of innocent creatures are being slaughtered just for the sake of your palate. And do you even have an awareness of it? We are not here to say one should be a vegetarian or non-vegetarian. That is not what the scope of neither this class and Vedanta doesn't give an instruction like that also. Of course, food habits, that is a different subject for discussion altogether. And the problem is aggravated when there is sort of a sanction for it. Sanction for it in the sense, if you are convinced that all other creatures are created for my welfare, for my happiness, you can say a thanks to God and do whatever you want to do. If this sort of a thing, you see, if you leave a child as it is, suppose, I am saying naturally as it is growing, we see sometimes certain videos are also forwarded to us in WhatsApp, in email, that a small girl is there, she is coming from obviously a very hardcore Western family, but she is not able to see birds or fish or any animal getting even injured or hurt, so she refuses to eat any non-vegetarian food even in their own family. Like this, then it's just not one case, there can be various cases. If you carefully note by the way by which if the children are brought up, they do feel for others, and it is there quite naturally, and it was there in us also. But then what happens is that, as I said, it is your association, it is your thought, how your brain is molded, how your thinking process is molded. Suppose if we grow up in a place where we say it is not wrong to slaughter animals, they are there for our palate only, and that gets ingrained in that system. Okay, that is also okay, you can consume. If you take an extreme example, suppose if just for argument's sake, an Eskimo is there and no vegetation is there, he has to kill a reindeer and eat. It's perfectly okay. You need not starve yourself and commit suicide like that. It is okay. I'm giving an example for you to understand the case. That's all. But committing cruelty to them, killing them in a particular way, it is all okay, and that is how. And the worst part of it is that when there is a religious sanction for that, not just that, those who enforce that religion, if they go along with it, not just go along with it, they encourage it, then we do not know what to say, in the sense that go back to the previous chapter where he says one who will not reason is a bigot, one who cannot reason is a fool, one who dare not reason is a slave. These persons then will not reason at all. You don't need any reason, you have to look into the eye of the creature, that's all it is. Do you need any other message there? You need any Bhagavad Gita or any great Vedantic text to come and tell you what it is? No. All that you need to do, that is why even Leo Tolstoy and other great things, they said if only the slaughterhouses had glass walls. So you must have the guts to see it actually. So I would recommend at least once you must see the Earthlings video. It is only the question of awareness, right? See, we are not blaming the people. Some people are brought up that way. Some people's value systems are like that. Some people are fortunate enough that their value systems are different because of the background and when they are brought up that way. That's all. So, but we said at every level your awareness has to expand. So, in the modern context, there have been always non-vegetarians right from the day one. That is not something that we are discussing. Even in Ramayana, we do see instances of that. We are not saying anything against it. But to the level to which the mass consumerism and the gross selfishness that is being promoted, thanks to the latest scientific advancement and technologies, is everything bereft of values when it is directed when this education is directed that way, it is only directed to our own, promoting our own selfishness. Like that it is. When it comes like that, then Swamiji says that you have to pay the price. So you are not even aware that millions are getting slaughtered every day and a few thousands or a few lakhs humans are there. What is so special about it? Who gave you that status? So you can give yourself the status. That is where this analysis comes in. Are you living to the dignity of prestige of a human being to claim that status? You are sometimes worse than the animal. Then nature knows how to balance itself. You have to sort of go through that. Meaning, nature is still benevolent. Nature is still loving. It is only helping you. It is only blessing you. It is only helping you with this hard lesson. That's all it is. It's a hard lesson that we have to learn. So, you have to consciously expand. So, for example, if a person is getting a treatment and he has to eat certain things, I would say there's nothing wrong with it. There are some cases where I'm sure even in maybe traditional Indian households, they may practice that when a lady delivers a baby, to recover, they might sometimes give her some drink which normally she will not drink, alcohol-based something, for her own recovery, for her own, which is all perfectly okay. She's not going to become an alcoholic. All this has to be understood as context specific. All this has to be understood. In fact, it is said that a Kshatriya can eat meat and he should not buy meat and eat. He should kill and eat. Why he should kill and eat? Because when he is going to confront a person in the battlefield, he must not be suddenly taken aback by seeing blood. He must have that guts and willingness to inflict injury upon others when the situation demands. He cannot be weak-minded there. So therefore he is allowed. And in order to balance the nature, even the Maharajas, they did some hunting expeditions also, even in the very, very many past, I'm saying. But this hunting as a sport, we do see a very clear history in our country, at least from the times of Mughals, and then later very much exaggerated in the British times, when for fun, even the so-called Maharajas, they were entertaining the Britishers. They will take them to the forest. We have seen it in African forests also, and in Indian forests, just kill the animals for fun. And what? With a weapon that they cannot defend against, and you stand on them to just show it as a trophy. So what he is trying to say in this paragraph is that genuinely also a person can be a religious person, go along with his religious doctrines and try to be a true Christian, true Muslim, true Hindu, whatever it is, and yet their awareness may fall short of embracing other creatures. So they have to still expand, they have to still further expand, and all this comes with your awareness only, your knowledge only, nothing short of it. And before that he said, here, at the end of that Animal Man section, he says, the members of each group cause more pain to the other groups than the pleasure they claim to give their own. It's a very important statement you have to remember. So at any stage, it is good that you get inspired and go to the next level. It is good that you are functioning there. The test is that at any point of time, if you feel monotonous, if you don't feel inspired as before, then you have to consciously raise your ideal. You have to be in touch with the subject. You have to be in touch with that awareness of the self. That is the indication there. But if you fail to do so, you might have come up to a certain level, but you get fanatically attached at that level. When you get fanatically attached at that level, then he says, the amount of good that you claim to do for your own circle is not there. That is not there. What is dominating and what is more vehemently seen and what is there practically is your hatred for others. And that will cause more damage to others. So that person will be full of bitterness and hatred. The ultimate litmus test is this, that as you move along, as you expand your consciousness, as you further your ideal and grow further, you must feel a sense of satisfaction, a sense of harmony and peace within you, a sense of happiness and laughter. These are all the tests. If you are able to eat peacefully, if you are able to sleep peacefully, if you are able to be not agitated. We see that very many religious persons are extremely agitated. See, we are not talking about a person having a rightful anger at any point of time, not that. But by and large, they must work on it and to see how they can convert that into a meaningful action for the betterment of whatever their own circle that they are doing. But constantly, if a person is frothing and fuming and agitated, and whatever be the position, he could be a family person, he could be a religious person, he could be a patriot, then he is approaching the life at that level in a very wrong way. He need to pause and check. Therefore, it really now does not matter where you are. The test is that you feel inspired and do where your inspiration is. It's okay, perfectly okay. Even if you want to now bring up your child as a very good citizen, look at it impersonally and do it, that is good. If you want to just work for your company and community from now on, genuinely it's good. If you do not feel one with all the Vedanta members, class members here, then we need not then talk about Sarvatma Bhava and other things. So if you want to do something for this circle in whichever way, to the knowledge that you are giving, that is good. So that which is inspirational for you at any level, you do something for that level. So the thought must be at that level, then you feel emotions at that level. That is how the emotion comes. See, if I am not able to, how will I expand my love to my brother? I have to embrace that brother under an umbrella where he is also in my circle. And what is that umbrella? If only I identify with my parent. To my parent, I am also a son, he is also a son. So if I am able to identify with that focal point under whom we come, then there is a natural identification. There are very many of my friends and colleagues who are there at various centers doing the same work, and they are also doing. There can be, in this case also, there can be a competition. Or I can try to identify with them also. How that is possible? How will I suddenly feel somebody, something for somebody like that? If only I am able to understand that all are students of Vedanta or students of the same master. If my identification is with that master, if my identification is with that subject, only then it is possible. So therefore you consciously work. When we talk about expanding consciousness, a tree cannot grow if you spray the water on the leaves and then the stem has to grow like this. It will not. You have to only water the roots. You have to make the root stronger. The root, let it go deeper. The deeper the root goes, the farther the shoot will also go. So the manifestation of your identification externally is a shoot. It is an effect for which you have to water the root. The root is within you. You have to go deep within your personality. If you feel with your emotional personality, then your family is an automatic identification. If you feel a little deeper, that emotion has to then go to the community, means you have to go within yourself and have that thought, have that ideal, like that it is. So it really does not matter at your level, whatever you feel inspired to help your own community around you, even the slum people around you, or your own building watchman, or your own servant or driver, it really does not matter. You feel inspired and do it. Maintain that inspiration. Maintain that high thought. Then by Guru's grace, by God's grace, that itself will expand. So two things, keep your study going, keep your thought going on that, maintain that satsang. Only by association, constant association with such people, can you also maintain that level. Otherwise, you will feel inspired, then it will ebb away, then it will go away. Then some other thing will come, you will feel inspired, it will go up and down like that. There must be a constant attempt to keep that inspiration going.
The God person is one who has shifted focus from the terrestrial world to the transcendental reality, who is self-realized, God-realized, has reached the state of absolute peace and bliss. In him, selfishness is totally annihilated. His love is all-embracing, universal. pervading everywhere, nowhere in particular. His identification is with one and all, none in preference. He is free from all worldly division and demarcation. His individuality has merged with the unifying divinity. Rare indeed is such a person.
God person, we can technically call as the self-realized person, is the person who is represented by the line F there. So that is a circle which has, you cannot pinpoint the center. So poetically you can say the center is everywhere, circumference nowhere, or radius is infinite. You can say all these things. So it is like that. And one more thing that we have to remember here is that this state of God person, it is very rare, as it is said. It could be one in a generation, but it is achievable and within the grasp of all human beings. Is the declaration of Vedanta, and fortunately for us, I would say in India, since by the long association of this thought, long association of this tradition, we are blessed with visitations of such great masters, rishis, avatars, sages, saints, from all communities we have, from all parts of the country we have, from all backgrounds we have. It's phenomenal. So these are all the things that we must feel not just proud of, but feel associated with. So whether it is so it's actually very our fortune that you can trace your root to any small village in this country, okay, your ancestral village or any city or anything. Within 5 kilometer radius, somewhere or the other, there will be some association with some great thing. There will be a great Mahatmas whose Samadhi is there, or somebody who's born there, or somebody who visited there, or some great temple which was consecrated, something like that. So you have that thing. So till today, even in this so-called Kali Yuga, even in this 21st century, it is there in the air for us. So we have to remember this, and particularly for Indians I am saying, this is our legacy. This is what we need to identify with. See, remember, you are what you were. If you don't have that base of the past, you don't have a vision for the future also. So our base for the past is well set, but we cannot just live in the glory of the past. That is also clear. But that must be the root for us. That must be the root for us. And such is a God-realized person. For him, it is what is known as the Sarvatma Bhava. Sarvatma Bhava means his Atma is everybody's Atma, Sarvatma. So he does not feel, he is like a universal personality. You cannot confine himself to any small boundary, obviously not to this body also. And we see that great masters like Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi and Ramatirtha, who are all very sort of recent examples also. I'm saying certain known names. There could be another great unknown people also. They will be known in their community. So you take them as inspiration or ideal or, for us to just think about. Only when we keep like that, our thought will be constantly going that, we must reach this state. It does not matter this Janma, next Janma, we need not be that way result oriented. But we will be inspired to expand our consciousness to this level. Yeah. If there are any questions, you can unmute and ask.
In the book, it is given the human species may be categorized thus under 5 distinct heads: mineral person, vegetable person, animal person, human person, and God person. When you had drawn this circle, you've given A, B, C, D, E, and then F is the 6th.
Correct.
There is any classification which you have included in the circle other than what?
Correct. Good observation. As I said, even in the book, he has said that the human category can be even classified as a patriot or even further as religious person. So like that it is. So in other words, here the movement is restricted, it's increasing, and at sun it gets restricted as it is, if you look at this. So therefore, truly a self-realized person is having that universal thing, but he is beyond that also. He is beyond that also. So if you are able to visualize that like that, then A, B, C, D, E, F all will fit into that. Thank you very much. No permission.
Poornam Adah Poornamidam Poornat Poornamudachyate Poornasya Poornamadaya Poornamevavashishyate